Hi, I'm Chip Alexandru. In this episode, I'm coming back to the topic of artificial intelligence in China that I covered in a previous episode in my conversation with Mark West from 4Paradigm. This episode features my conversation with Claire Xiong, Director Business Strategy at Zhuiyi Technology, a China-based leader in AI virtual assistant technology for enterprise. Many articles and books on the development of AI in China cover the role of the government in setting up the ambition to make China the global AI leader. This might create, however, the impression that AI in China is driven only top-down, as the vibrant research and startup ecosystem that is the engine of AI progress is not well known. China's government established artificial intelligence as one of the priorities of the Made in China 2025 plan. The Artificial Intelligence Development Plan is available in English on the web, and it's a fascinating read. Growing up in communist Romania, some of the language in this document brings back old memories, but as it goes through the myriad of AI research and investment areas, covering the theory, technologies, and infrastructure requirements, it reads more like a VC investment thesis. While China's government contributes directly to building AI infrastructure, from research centers to smart highways and connected cities, the government-provided resources are allocated locally, often through universities and private venture capital firms. Given that not too long ago, Chinese enterprises are mostly known for producing cheap, large quantities of copycats, how did China get to thousands of AI startups and world-leading innovations? As Kai-Fu Lee, the author of AI Superpowers, mentions, it started with Chinese enterprises applying lean startup methodologies to improve on copycats. They continued iterating, and their products and services surpassed the originals, like WeChat, for example. The next step was creating services that are first and best in the world, like TikTok. In AI, this was facilitated by the availability and access to data. Some startups got access to amounts of data no one has seen in the world, and this helped develop very good models. Most successful of the startups have hundreds, even thousands of data scientists, despite being less than 10 years old. There is no AI technology or application space without significant competition. From applications such as virtual assistants, self-driving cars, robots, to underlying AI domains such as natural language processing, image recognition, deep learning, including AI-dedicated hardware, and covering use cases in all industries. To bring the point to life, I will go through some recent applications of AI to fight the COBIT crisis. Infrared cameras able to check body temperature of people passing by, trackers on the phone indicating someone's risk of being contagious and used for access to some local public transit systems, faster genetic sequencing of the COVID virus RNA, chatbots for diagnostic and general information about reopening, big data processing for scenario planning and crisis management. And the list is much longer. We will now continue with my conversation with Claire from Zhuiyi Technologies, and afterwards we will be back with my key takeaways. I'm talking to Claire Xiong, Director Business Strategy at Zhuiyi Technology. Zhuiyi Technology is a China-based AI startup in the space of digital staff chatbot. This is an exciting space at the intersection of natural language processing and voice recognition. I'm particularly excited to talk again to an AI startup from China, China being at the forefront of AI technology and applications. Claire, welcome. Please introduce yourself and Zhuiyi Technology.
Well, thank you, Chip. I'm glad to be here. So my name is Claire. I'm currently the Director of Business and Strategy for Zhuiyi. Zhuiyi is China's #1 natural language processing startup. We service enterprise for its needs in customer service, marketing, and sales. I personally grew up in China, and I went to States for school. And my undergraduate did it in UC Berkeley for economics and media studies. And then I went to Silicon Valley for accelerator and venture capital to invest in early stage startups for 3 years. And after that, I moved back to China.
Claire, I would like to start a bit broader. So what do you see are the key developments in AI for enterprise in China or abroad?
So I think there are three that I can talk about. The first, I think, is the users. Is that if you have large enough market for the deployment, AI applications are doing great in China because we have a huge market that's open for AI applications. One essential thing for AI is that if you have enough data to be deployed, because AI is based on training, and training needs lots of data. So you can only do AI if you have lots of users, have lots of data, and then you can use the data for deployment. And the second thing that we see is for use case scenario. A lot of times when we go to a specific client, that we see many companies that they have a rough idea about what they want, but they're not clearly defined for what exactly the thing is. A lot of AI companies, they have the problem that they have great technology with many AI talents that we know how to do AI. But if AI is not connected with a specific industry solution, then AI cannot do its best applications. And the third thing, I think, is more about the expectation. AI may not be like traditional software. For traditional software industry, the marginal increase of cost is very minimal. Once you develop a software program, you just sell a copy, and selling each copy is identical, it's the same. But for AI, there's a lot of training and customization involved, which means that that incurs some substantial amount of cost. For enterprise clients, I think there's a balance you have to take. You have to understand that just buying or deploying a specific type of AI or software, there's a cost that you have to bear in mind for customization and training.
What specific problems does Zhuiyi try to solve?
So we use AI to replace repetitive labor, human labor, in customer service and marketing. So we first, initially, when we started to do this, is that our founding team came out of Tencent. We were the internal architecture team, the technology team for Tencent's top products like WeChat and QQ. We build the technology infrastructure. That's when the time that I want to take this technology out to service more enterprises and corporates. And the first clients that we encounter is the share ride company, Didi, which is now it's also world's largest share ride companies. And the problem that it's having in 2016 is that Didi experienced about 3 times increase in its user base. So in order to serve those massive users, they have to expand their customer service centers by potentially 3 times as well. But we realized that about 80% of the customer service requests that came into that contact center, it's identical. It's almost the same. It's repetitive. So that means that most of their staffs are answering repetitive questions, which doesn't make sense. So that's when we came in and supplied our AI contact center solution. So we use chatbots to help the agents to replace human agents in answering the customer service questions. We filter about 70 to 80% of all questions, and the things that our AI chatbot couldn't answer are redirected to human agents for answering. So that saved about at least 60% of human staffs in the contact center. And after that, we also did a lot of clients in finance industry, in retail industry, in travel industry, etc. And then we also expanded our footprint. Besides doing just customer service, we also do marketing and sales to help save human labors for a lot of our clients.
So what languages do you cover, and can you explain a bit the technology behind and how is it different than other chatbot technologies?
Yeah, so we mainly do Mandarin Chinese. We also have smaller applications in Cantonese and also English. Actually, we have to say that Mandarin Chinese is the hardest language to tackle in natural language processing. The cap is about 95% of accuracy rate. Whereas in English, because it's English in terms of a language, is much more simplified and also direct. One word matches one specific meaning. So English, we can reach about 97% of accuracy rate. So in terms of technology, how we differ from traditional chatbot, because traditional chatbot uses specifically for template filling or keyword matching, which means that it's very limited in terms of understanding. I'll bring up an example. If I say, I want to book a flight ticket, then the chatbot will recognize the keyword of flight ticket. So then the chatbot will know, okay, this is a booking request. But if you revise the sentence a little bit, let's say, I want to cancel my flight ticket, then the chatbot might be confused because it also contains the keyword of flight ticket. But there's also a negative reverse meaning of cancel. So there might be a conflict of meaning. Or if I say another way, I want to fly tomorrow, implies I want to book a flight ticket, but it does not implicitly mention the keyword of flight ticket. Traditional chatbot may not be able to understand. And with natural language processing technology, what we are doing over here essentially is that we're getting rid of template filling or keyword matching system. We're using intention abstraction, which means that we don't focus on specific word. We focus on the whole sentence for the meaning. A human being can express the same type of meaning with more than 30, 40 different ways of expression. And natural language processing is able to understand that.
How do companies work with Zhuiyi? How does an implementation look like?
So we actually have over 500 corporate clients in China, and we're especially strong in the finance industry. Over 85% of all banks in China uses our solution for their contact center. Once a company reach out to us, we'll evaluate what other specific needs. Are they looking to save labor for the repetitive work? Or are they looking to improve their customer use experience? Or are they looking to improve, let's say, efficiency for sales of their agents, etc.? So we'll define the use case scenario first, and then apply our product with a customized solution. Our product is all in modular format. The customer can choose different modular functions.
You mentioned banking as being an industry you're specifically strong. So just to zoom in into the application, does it cover recorded voice, a phone conversation, or just text as an email or, let's say a web conversation? And as a follow-up, what do you see when a bank or a company starts to use the Zhuiyi in terms of customer penetration?
So first is that banking, especially finance industry in general, is definitely huge in adopting our AI solution. Primary reason because finance industry has a more established technology infrastructure that especially they're very good in data accumulation. In terms of application channels, we do all channels. So which means that phone calls is definitely a primary way. And also a lot of corporations, they have their own apps or websites. They have social media channels. Those are different channels. We also channel in for text messages. Our AI agents are divided into voice agents and chat text agents. Once the message coming in, it will be automatically transferred to, whether this is calls, it will be transferred to AI call agents. If this is text, then it will be transferred to AI text agents. I would say that most of our clients, their biggest advantage or what they like the most is that they can save a lot of cost. Because oftentimes for contact centers, they have a very quick turnaround. A typical length of human agent that stays with a contact center is just 3 to 6 months. So they rotate very fast. And then the clients will occur this problem that they have to constantly train and recruit our new agents. And that also means that they have a hard time maintaining the same quality standards for all agents. So that's, I think, the first outcome, saving costs. A second is improving the efficiency. Once we have a lot of human laborers are replaced with AI center agents, that does not mean that we had to fire those human agents. Oftentimes, what our clients do is that they will transfer human agents to sales functions. So that's a huge plus for a lot of our clients.
Claire, as we are getting to the end, the final question. The COVID crisis had and continues to have a tremendous impact. It accelerated e-commerce, digital transformation, remote work. Do you think there will be impact on the use of AI in the enterprise as well?
Since February this year, we see a dramatic increase of user base in our platform. Once the COVID-19 started, we see a lot of people calling our clients about canceling flight tickets, about specific their product needs, or their my delivery is delayed. I need something with online banking, etc. So we see a large influx into the customer service center. Most of our clients actually realize that with a sudden increase in contact center, there's no way they can recruit human staffs, but they have to rely on AI. Because if you don't use AI, customer can have to maybe wait for 1 to 3 hours online. But with AI, this request can be solved immediately. So that's why more and more clients are accepting our AI solution, and also users that they don't have to wait too long. They just have to talk to an AI agent. If the requests are not being able to solve by AI agents, then a human customer service agent will follow up later. This is kind of becoming the norm in China now.
Claire, this was very informative. Thank you very much for the time.
Glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Chip.
Let's wrap it up with my 3 takeaways on the development of AI in China. First, there is a vibrant and competitive AI research and commercial ecosystem, from startups to more than a dozen AI-centric unicorns. Many are not known abroad, as they focused until now on the significant opportunities in the home market. Second, given the scale of innovation, it is likely that we will see more Chinese AI technology exported abroad. This will not be without challenges. In some cases, the use of AI technology at home will be scrutinized, and if deemed unacceptable in the West, will potentially impact the company as a whole. More practical challenges are solving very different use cases, as well as access to data that is more difficult than in China. And finally, the made in China technology and applications that gave Chinese consumers access to most advanced mobile payments and e-commerce, unmanned delivery services and so on, is making its way to the Western consumers as well, through its creators and increasingly through Western copycats.